So really quickly, I am going to go, well, not really quickly, but as the aspects go, I'm going to discuss the different modeling that I've done because I've done a few pictures, kind of a few, or a lot, but I'm going to go in a random order. Instead of going in a timeline order, which would make sense in some regards. And I'm not going to go in an alphabetical order either. Ooh, and I'm CDO, like what? And so I am going to go in what order I feel is going to be the most ideal. And I'm going to explain each one that I have worked with as best as I possibly can. And in some ways, the first one that I'm going to go over in reference to the modeling that I've done, in certain ways is going to be kind of like with my Medal of Honor art project trips, where I go to the furthest distance in regards to in reference to my Medal of Honor art project trip, the furthest distance from the aspects of the planning points of what would be the makeshift home base. But because this particular photographer that I worked with more than most other photographers, and am in well, despite the quarantine aspect at this point, but working with him and a bunch of others in reference to A Fool's World, Sam Lewis. I got to meet him and his wife, Nikki, back in 2010. It was shortly after certain aspects in regards to what was occurring to my daughter at the time, and my son as well, of course. And I got to meet Nikki at the same time of meeting Sam for the first modeling session. And she was there a few different times and spoke with her a bunch and discussed various aspects before he wound up getting the studio that he's in currently. And whatchamacallit, we talked for several hours before the actual shoot began. And both of them fantastic people. Nikki's very, very nice and very smart. Oh, so smart. And then Sam is very nice and very smart, but obviously different, for various reasons. And so I'm going to discuss, just showing the pictures that I was able to keep and stuff like that. But Nikki, Sam, and I had spoken at great length multiple times about what was occurring in reference to McCoy Elementary School and Carrollton Farmers Branch Independent School District. And, they were very supportive despite everything that was going on. And while there were a few individuals that I had introduced them to, mainly Sam at that point, because once Nikki felt comfortable that I wasn't going to be apparently one of those models is the term, that was it was good to go. So let me pull up the file for that. Sam Lewis goes by Made by Sam online. So I'm going to pull this up, and then I'm going to flip the camera around real quick. I guess that would be, I don't know if I can. Okay, so once the computer thing does the computer stuff. And yes, I did move. That's where the refrigerator goes, but I moved it. So I'm going to show you. So this is a recent picture, all painted up and stuff, literally. So that's me, and in the Fool's world, I am Dame Venus, and that is Trouble. Or she goes by, well, Taylor, but in the Fool's world, she is Trouble. And so that is a recent picture again, but he wanted to do a fine art pinup style thing. So you can see the Photoshop of the sleeve drawn in, but you know, and then that telephone aspect. And then obviously that's me, and then there's Trouble. And so again, Dame Venus and then Trouble. And then this is an older picture just before winding up in Washington State. You can see my tattoos, obviously. With Sam, you can actually see the progression of my tattoos. So this is a referee where it's like safe or not safe or out, depending on. And then that's me dressed up as, I think it's, the character is Harley Quinn or something like that. And so did that. Oh, and by the way, that's a prop. That's not as far as I know. I think that was a prop gun. I know that was a prop. The little bomb thing, and then he added the little spark on the picture. And then me dressed up as Harley Quinn, I guess is the name of the character. And then I do like knives. I don't deny that, especially with scuba diving. Yes, I very much like knives. But that's a whole other ball of wax. So yeah, and then, you know, and yes, you can see one of my tattoos. So there's that. And that pretty much is like, yeah, I could definitely truthfully say with any new knife, that's pretty much how excited I get. And ready to throw and drop some bombs. There's no denial on that. Now you can see right there, this is an older picture because of the tattoos that are not visible that I have now. Again, yes. And oh, that is an older picture because I don't have the tattoos on my arms. Well, mainly, I think it's that one. And then, yes, I'm dressed up as Minnie Mouse, and the tattoo progression. So I don't have the sleeve or half a sleeve there, but you also don't see certain tattoos that are on this leg. But you can see some of them there. You can see that one that's going up, and so that's me as Poison Ivy dancing, I guess. Let me pull that back a little bit. Yep, you can see my platypus tattoo right there. That is my little baby platypus. I'll zoom in right there. Yep, little baby platypus scooting underwater. Oh, wait, hold on, let me angle it down. There it is. And so, but the ivy was painted on. Sam did the makeup. And then there's a fuller Etsy. You can see the tattoo coming out there on that arm. And then, you know, I'm Santa Claus. And that is a reindeer name. Her name is Tara. And so did that. And you can see because of the arm not having that tattoo there. And again, Minnie Mouse. Different version, but same aspect. And you can see the difference, obviously. Same haircut for the most part, with the exception of the waxing on the sides. And so that is a set of heels that I had at one point in time, and that's my Phoenix tattoo and part of the tulip tattoo. And then that's the first tattoo I ever got. Irony, I know it's supposed to help, but my memory aspects, and this is how it can help because I can see it on the computer screen. That is Photoshop. Obviously, he did the black and white aspect, and it's a corset I had. Let's see. Get that to... Oh, that's a little... It was considered an avatar because it's just the face. And then that is a picture I did with Tara, and yeah, being like motherly and stuff, or I guess, I don't know, depending on how you view that sort of, but yeah, did that. And you can see the tattoos there. And that ring is actually, I had that special ordered. That has my son and my daughter's name. That's why I view it as more motherly, but I'm sure it could be viewed in other ways. But yes, it has, well, had my daughter's name on one side, my son's name on the other side, as well as their birth dates. Happy for a shiny. That particular tool, Wolf made for me. I had that custom designed, and it was one of those, yes, it's a little baby, and I have fun. Those are, yeah, my colors are black and white in the lifestyle scene. That's a different cane that I found. And so you can see the progression of the tattoos. The one on this leg is not there yet, but you can see that. And so then, yeah, just being silly in that regard, I guess. And then, yes, I can contort like that. That is not... That is not Photoshop. That is me able to actually bend in that way and twist and all that. And so you can see, you know, tattoos. You can't see the one that's right there. You can partially see the one on my neck. And yes, I see the irony, literally, because of not being able to see my back, with the exception of in pictures. And so that is my first pet, Methuselah, that I had tattooed right there, Ghost Corn Snake. And so you can also see the progression there, because that portion doesn't have the lavender yet. Or wait, no, you can just barely see the lavender. And then that's one of my... I have had a few corsets. I like corsets. I don't deny that. I have a thing about corsets. I know I'm not the only one, but you could also see the progression because of not having the sleeve portion right there. And then there you can see the sleeve portion right there, but not the leg tattoo going upward. Then zoom in on that, and then that one I know is on my website, www.susanmeeling.com, and that is a Trinity jacket that I had gotten, and the lace. But yeah, you don't see the redness of my hair because of the filter that was used. That is a mask that Sam had made, and then corset and stuff like that. You can see the tattoos and stuff. And yes, I like corsets. I don't deny that. And I can, that one twisted one, I can bend like that in an actual corset. So yeah, you see the difference in stuff. And so there's the singular picture. And then, there's my foot. I don't like feet. I forgot about that. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, because I don't like my feet, but I'll point that out because it's like the only abnormality I was really born with, other than a few whatchamacallit, freckles that turned into moles. So that's a different tattoo set that you can see there and there in comparison to that one on legs, as far as that goes. And then yeah, that. And I did the most amount of, yeah, Sam wound up saying that he had started a Fool's World because of this makeup set with this makeup set and then the outfit stuff. Because he made that corset. And so it's that. And then, yeah, the whole tattoos, you can't really see them at all because of the sleeves and the stockings. And then I made the joke on Facebook that this is probably how I looked when at the bottom of the ocean, looking upward to wonder what was taking so long and why my scuba diver buddy could not see me at the bottom of the ocean next to the Vandenberg. But yes, I realize now it's a little bit late. I get it. But, at that time, that's probably what I look like, including with my foot, with the exception of, the clothing in specific, but the tapping fin just, but it kind of works out with his thingamabob right there because my fins were white. So there is that. And then there's my back, and you can see my back leg tattoos and stuff like that. And there's that in black and white. And so, yeah, I really like that corset, but I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, I really liked that corset. And then those shoes, so much fun to wear. They were actually comfortable, like genuinely comfortable shoes. So comfortable despite those heels, despite how high those heels are. And then, yeah, me being, there's the picture for the ornery PSA. Because, it just kind of, it really did fit for that aspect. And then, I can look all girly and stuff. Despite, my hair and tattoos. Can look all, wear a gown and look like a girl. I mean, I am one, but, that's beside the point. And so there's that modeling picture. Yep. I realize now it kind of looks like a Christmas tree, especially with my hair. Again, a little bit late, and especially when you look at the tattoo timing. And again with the shoes, and then Harley Quinn. I think, nope, that's a different angle. And again with the platypus tattoo, and then yeah, so a different outfit. I tend to like leather a lot. And then there's me dressed up as a different version of a sailor, but a sailor nonetheless. I guess technically because of that might be the admiral aspect. But you can see the progression of the tattoos. And then there's that. Yeah, I can definitely do that in a corset, no problem. And yeah, just be thinking to myself, I guess, depending on who. And then that was actually the first sugar skull that Sam had painted on me. So there's that. And Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy. I think I'm back at the... nope, I guess not at the front. Okay, so then he obviously added that portion and stuff. And see, I could look all girly and... there's that. I've had a few outfits. A few. Yeah, up there. Yeah, shiny corset. I like shiny corsets. Yeah, there's my ocean tattoo from several pictures. And I landed at the bottom of the ocean and surfaced in different locations. And so, good morning. And then there's the first sugar skull one that he had done as in that, but that's me obviously, but I'll paint it up. And then yeah, in different progression because he added the blue after, because as going on just changed it. Now this is obviously a different photo session, but yeah, you can see the difference with the lines and stuff as the photo shoot had gone. That is, little East Coast right there. Old school East Coast, but East Coast nonetheless. And then I think these might be just, oh, nope, that's a different one. Yep. Being all fairy-like. That is, oh, I know that's Tara. I cannot remember her name, but we kind of was doing the Supreme type of look. And, yeah. Yep, really excited about that shiny. Really excited about that shiny. And, oh yeah, he did the back, and that is on the Finding a Silver Lining and Finding the Silver Lining. And it's really ironic about this because there was a time where I had not wanted to accept certain aspects of MMJ, and I had tried Spice, and it literally felt like that, ironically, now that I think about it. And then that's Trouble, and then that's me as Dame Venus tying up her hair. Braiding it. I think that's actually the end. Yeah, because that's not going anywhere. Let me see. Yep, I guess so, because, yeah, there you go. So let me turn the camera around. And so, as far as, working with Sam Lewis, madebysam.com is his website. And then all of the different models that I've gotten to work with while he was a photographer, they were all nice. I personally can't think of any problems that occurred. But I do remember, I think it was Tara, who had said that her mom was in either the Air Force or the Army. It was one day we were talking, and she had said her mom was in a unit that had attempted to be the equivalent of female special forces. And she didn't say what year, and I said I didn't know that they had done that already before, because I had tried. When I joined, before my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 during basic training. And she had said that a bunch of them really genuinely tried to, but because of the time and the era, or she might not have used the word era, but used the word time, that they were not able to go forward because there were very few males in the profession that did not think that females could do the same job. And I told her, I said, well, whether they did try that beforehand or not, in certain regards, I do agree that, yes, females are very much capable of doing a lot of the jobs in certain regards as males when it comes to even special forces. However, there is that however portion where and especially since it was, after 9/11, not that that realistically matters, because when faced with enemy aspects, if, not that I want that, but if a female is captured as a POW with who our current enemy was at the time, but is even now, the radicalized, what happens to females, and it does occur to males as well, but what happens to females is very difficult for a female to overcome certain assaults that occur, as it is. It already is. And not saying that either gender, the male or the female, should have to endure something like that. However, the likelihood of what occurs in such a situation is far more likely if a female is a POW. And when I explained that to Tara, she kind of just, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I said, so, well, I don't think that females cannot handle the job. I do. I genuinely do. At the same time, the realistic aspect of what can occur, which don't want that to happen, of course, but what can occur is in the civilian sector, it already occurs far too much, no denying that. But in reference to war, a female being a POW takes a lot of extra strength to overcome that. And again, not saying that females can't overcome that, and not saying males haven't overcome that. But it is something that shouldn't occur. It is a personal opinion. I know I'm not the only one who can think that way in that regard. But when Tara and I had discussed that, she kind of didn't really think of it that way, because at first she said she thought it was sexist, and I said I don't deny that in certain regards that can be considered as sexist. But at the same time, when you look at how certain individuals do not follow the Geneva Convention, that do not follow the rules that are put in place, because realistically, war is war. It's not playtime. It's not a game. War is war. And so when taking that into consideration and wanting to ensure the safety of everyone as best as possible, of course, when it occurs to males who have the ability to fight back physically much easier than females do, and again, as a female, I am saying this, so it's not being sexist, it is a realistic aspect. When females have survived assault, whether it's one assault or multiple, it already is difficult enough. Males surviving assault is extremely difficult as well, because where females, there is at least a minimum understanding in the regard of that because of the femininity. It's not right. Males should know how to keep their hands and other appendages to themselves and be respectful. However, when a male is assaulted by another male, there are the questions of, and then the accusations as well, of whether or not they are considered homosexual, even though not necessarily, but because of that assault. And so when discussing that with her, it was one of those, no male, no female should ever be forced in that regard, ever. Assault is assault. But where males already have their machismo, and not in a negative way when I'm using that word at this point, but where they have their masculinity and what they're accustomed to being able to do, especially if they're special forces. And if they are captured and they go through certain things, there are certain aspects which they have to figure in their own way of how to process and deal with that, especially if they're not homosexual. Even if they could have had certain questions when they were younger, but because of something like that, that makes the thought processes go in different ways. And so special forces guys who have become POWs, unfortunately, have had difficulties overcoming certain aspects of that. Females being put into that situation, you can call me sexist for wanting to protect females from that, but also protect males, obviously. But where males in a lot of situations will have the thought processes and the physical capability to get themselves out, or at least know how to withstand something like that. Females, in certain regards, not every special forces guy can do that, and they have the training for that. Females, being biologically stronger because they can deliver children and deal with pregnancies and all that stuff, but physically not always capable to do as much as males in certain training aspects. There is that portion which, when I was told that I could not go into infantry, and I could not go into cavalry, and I could not go into combat arms, and I had to pick another MOS, and I chose logistics, and explained that the reason for my choice of logistics was to be able to get whoever was needing the supplies as best as possible, as quick as possible, and do the paperwork. I mean, I did tell and I told Tara this, I had told her in the MEP station, I had told the advisor when discussing the different aspects that I knew that if it came down to a situation where I had to get all of the supplies for whoever needed it, if under attack, quickly, and I would deal with the paperwork afterwards, because in war, you got to be ready to do all sorts of stuff, I would be able to do so. And the benefit is I could go into locations that, depending on your MOS, you don't have the clearance for. And with logistics, you get the clearance to go into a lot of locations. And I thought that that was, the upside benefit of not being able to go into infantry, cavalry, combat arms, armory, etc. And so when we discussed that, and I had explained, no male or female should have to endure something like that at all, ever. The realistic aspects of war is, despite certain Geneva codes and rules, it doesn't always mean that the enemy follows those rules. And depending on who the enemy is, they may not adhere to those rules whatsoever. And so keeping as many safe as possible, again, not wanting to put males through that, but realistically, a lot of times they have a thought process that is different that gets them out of that, plus they have the physical strength and the wherewithal. Not saying that females don't. There are plenty of females who do, but coming across a female that can withstand that and have the physical capabilities of knowing how to do certain things, that is a rare individual. And so also having the ability to process the aspects afterwards, because what I didn't explain to Tara was after a POW or anybody completes a specific type of mission, special forces guys, law enforcement guys, they know this, and the people who follow up with the reports obviously know this. They have to be able to verbalize and explain what occurred, so that way the other preparations can be done, recommendations can be made, and so on and so forth. And so while Tara was able to understand the other portions, and maybe she even was able to speak with her mom about that, I understood in certain regards, despite being upset. I don't deny that. I wanted to still be able to. I mean, when I was in medical hold, I saw a little piece of paper that had the ability to join special forces, and Watson was like, "Hom, you didn't graduate basic training." I could go back to basic training and I could become special forces. And he's like, "No, you can't, Hom." And I'm like, "Yes, I want to." Ironically, I was called into CID afterwards, now that I think about that. Shortly after discussing that. Anyway, so, but going back to the point in reference to Sam, who does the photography, but Nikki, his wife, great individuals. And I mean, obviously you saw he does fantastic photography. He does quite a bit with all that sort of stuff. And so that would be why I completed that one first, among all of the different aspects of. He would have the most amount of images in regards to the different tattoos I have and the literal progression of. So, you guys have a good one, and like and share and all that sort of stuff. And there's information.